Do you ever start to hate your boyfriend so much that you start daydreaming about being friends with his ex and like you start understanding her and like you have a soft spot for her?
I think it's one thing to have the mindset, okay, his ex isn't necessarily a terrible person. You look at her objectively. It's like, okay, both people had flaws in that relationship. Neither one was perfect. But to be friends with her, I don't know. That feels like there's some boundary violations there. It's one thing if your ex has, I mean, his ex has kids with her and he realistically needs to co-parent, or there's a reason why she needs to be in the lives of you two. But for the majority of people, you don't keep in contact with your exes, and your current partner should not be in contact with the ex. That's weird too. And then what? Like, are you going to sit there and ask questions about how your boyfriend treated her and then make comparisons and then expect him to step up because she got more than him in some areas? Or you start to get insecure or wonder what, if he still has feelings for her. I mean, this is a slippery slope. And I know a lot of women post these videos, they're not thinking that deeply about it. It's sort of. I mean, I wouldn't call it a joke because it's not funny. It's okay, I don't know how to fully take these videos, but they're very cringy. Also, depending on how the relationship ended, that's incredibly disrespectful to him that you would even want anything to do with her. If she cheated, for example, or she did horrible things, you should want nothing to do with her. Like, you should see her in a negative light or even neutral light, I guess, to be mature about it. But like anyone who disrespects your man, you should see them as just garbage. You shouldn't want anything to do with them. That's personally how I feel with my husband. People like will treat him badly and then they'll try to be friends with me or talk to me, which I find that comical because it's like, no, you treat my man badly. We're not friends. We're not on okay terms. I will be cordial if absolutely necessary, like, maybe at work or whatever it is, but we are not going to have a close relationship. Now, it's one thing if, the relationship ended on reasonable terms. They just weren't right for each other, not a good fit. Like, we all have those exes that, it's like, okay, they're not bad people, but we just weren't a good fit. Our overall lifestyle beliefs were different. We didn't have enough in common, whatever it is, and it's like, okay, not a good fit. I think if that were the case and you stumbled into his ex somewhere and you guys hit it off and became friends, not just because you both dated Kevin, but because you have things in common, and then you talk to your man about it and he's like, yeah, you know what, I'd be okay with that, then fine, that's different. But not like this. Not so you guys can talk crap about him to each other. That creates a weird triangle in psychology. I avoid using psychological terms, but you can actually look into that triangulation. Quite interesting. Also, the ideal situation is both of you guys are growing and improving yourselves. So that past version of him that dated her, might be a totally different version of himself that was maybe not that well developed, not that great. Like, if my husband were to talk seriously to some of my exes back when I was stupid and immature, and before I took accountability for things, and before I tried to have that self awareness, he'd be like, are we talking about the same person? Because I have actively been trying to grow and improve myself. And I mean, I feel horrible. I still feel guilty about it. Like some of my past relationships, I was not a good girlfriend. I was absolutely horrible. And I feel badly about that. And I've improved myself as a result. But I mean, obviously you can't go back in time and change what you did in the past. But ideally, it would be a situation like that where you're not the same version of yourself that was once dating that person back in the day. But again, that's why you don't want to have those weird open doors because like my exes might have a harsher version of me than my husband does, and he might start to change his mind if he were to sit there and talk to these men because they have different versions of me that they once knew. And again, with her treating him badly, what if she financially exploited him? What if she used him? What if she made him feel worthless daily and you want to be around someone like that? And this is another one of those things where like men aren't allowed to have boundaries, it seems like, in relationships. Because if a man genuinely says, no, I don't want you to meet my ex. No, I don't want you to talk to her. And then you do it anyways. Like, that's stomping all over his boundaries. And I mean, that's one of those implied things. You don't reach out to somebody's ex. It's one thing if it's a genuine emergency or something. Even then, I would argue you should reach out to somebody else. And then what? The relationship becomes like you sticking up for his ex, like you guys get in an argument. Well, oh, I see why Sharon thought that about you. It's true. Like, that's gonna erode your relationship real quick. Also, it creates drama that doesn't need to exist. What if his ex still likes him? You don't know. Maybe she broke up with him, but she secretly regrets it because he was the best man she's ever dated. I actually see this a lot. Like, a lot of women don't want to swallow their pride and contact their ex and be like, I messed up. Can we get back together? It's just something where she's in the background hoping every relationship he then has fails. And in those cases, she may deliberately try to sabotage your relationship. She'll plant doubts. And then she may also enjoy knowing that she can influence his current relationship by what she says or does. There's so many problems with this thing.